Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone that taught us his word. Just want to talk about, power and the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is going to give his men power, on this side. Right now we're likened unto worms. We have no defenses, we're weak, we have no power, no might in our hands, but the Lord's going to give certain men, power to tread down their enemies, and to take the kingdom. First scripture is Zechariah 10 and 5. And they shall be as mighty men which tread down their enemies in the mire of the streets in the battle. And they shall fight because the Lord is with them. And the riders on the horses shall be confounded. The Lord's going to be with us again, eventually. And I will strengthen the house of Judah. And I will save the house of Joseph. And I will bring them again to place them. For I have mercy upon them, and they shall be as though I had not cast them off. For I am the Lord their power, and will hear them. And we're waiting on that day, to where it's like the Lord has not casted us off, and bring us back to our land. It says, and they shall be as mighty men which tread down their enemies, and we're going to need that. Because our enemies are going to come up against us, in this time. Jumping down to chapter 12, verse 11. In that day the Lord shall defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as the Most High, as the angel of the Lord before them. Yeah, it's like King David, he was a mighty warrior, he bent a bow, steel, he leapt over a wall, him and his mighty men, Most High really showed his power through those men in that time, and he's going to do the same thing again with the house of David. It says, in that day, the Lord shall defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them shall be as King David, the feeble one that's weak, the weakest man of the elect, shall be as David, and the house of David shall be, as the Most High, as the angels, man. That's power. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all nations that come against Jerusalem. We need our power back, man. We definitely need our power, because all these nations have sought out to destroy us. They said, let's cut them off from being a nation. They're confederate, all these nations. So we're looking for the Most High to defend us against all these nations. The next scripture is Isaiah 41:14. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith the Lord, thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. He says, fear not, thou worm Jacob. We're likened unto worms, man. No defenses out here. No power, no defense. The only thing a worm can do is just burrow itself and hide, And we need to be hid, We want the Lord to hide us in that day. He also wants us to give us that power so we can fight and take the kingdom, as we're about to read. Behold, I'll make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and shall make the hills as chaff. Mountains represent governments, man. The Lord's going to give his men that power to take over, the whole planet and establish Yahweh Shai's kingdom, on the planet Earth, man. It says, I'll make thee a new sharp threshing instrument, the world hasn't seen what the Lord's about to do, with his men. I'll make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth, and thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and shall make the hills as chaff. Yeah, because we're like worms right now, but the Most High is going to turn his men, into a threshing instrument, that power, Why? So that they can take the kingdom. This is Daniel 7:18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Yeah, we're never going to go down again. Yeah, you have take the kingdom. Esau isn't going to give over power. He's not going to give up the throne willingly. His men are going to have to take that throne. The Lord's going to give them the power to do it. And they shall possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Because the Most High, because the word says, we can put the word in our inward parts, force us to keep the commandments, so we're never going to go down again. We're never going to go into slavery again, So it's going to take the kingdom, That scripture is Jeremiah 46:27. But fear not thou, O my servant Jacob, and be not dismayed, O Israel, for behold, I will save thee from afar off, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and be at rest and at ease, and none shall make him afraid. That's what we're looking forward to, man. That's what it's all about. Going through these last little prophecies, watching and praying. Watching out for the prophecies. In the time of Jacob's trouble. Preparing ourselves, preparing our mind for that time, so that we can come to this right here. It says, but fear not thou, O my servant Jacob, and be not dismayed, O Israel, for behold, I will save thee from afar off, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. So the Lord's going to save us, from where they're scattered. And Jacob shall return, Jacob is going to return, and be in rest and at ease. That's what we look for. We're not at rest. This isn't our rest, as the scriptures say, because it's polluted. It'll destroy you. And we want to wait to be at rest. And when the Lord returns, he's going to save his men. And then that's when Israel will be at rest and at ease, and none shall make him afraid. We're walking in the valley of the shadow of death over here. It's this constant. We have no assurity of our life. It's part of those curses, but none's going to make him afraid. Fear thou not, O Jacob, my servant, saith the Lord, for I am with thee. For I will make a full end of all the nations, whither I have driven thee. But I will not make a full end of thee, but correct thee in measure. Yet I will not leave thee wholly unpunished. He's going to make a full end to these nations, but not a full end to us. There is a remnant that he's going to save. And then to them, that's when Israel will be saved. That scripture is Leviticus 26:6. And I will give peace in the land, and ye shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. I will rid evil beasts out of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land. And ye shall chase your enemies, and shall fall, and they shall fall before you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. For I will have respect unto you, and I will make you fruitful, and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you. I want the Lord to have that respect for us again, man. Make us fruitful, and multiply us again. Where it says, he'll give us peace in the land, and none shall make us afraid. We're not going to be afraid. Whatever you're afraid of right now, you're not going to have to worry about that fear. The kingdom, man. We're going to chase our enemies. It says 5 shall chase 100, and 100 shall put 10,000 to flight. So yeah, we're going to get that power back. We're going to get that respect back, that fear. These other nations are going to fear us again. We're going to get that respect back from these other nations. Yeah, that's what we're waiting on, to get that power, to become that new threshing instrument, beating peace. We're going to beat in pieces many nations, many people. Man. The horn's going to be as iron, the hooves as brass, With that, looking for that rest and that ease, man. We're not at rest right now. But with that, shalom.